Good morning. In the previous section, we have discussed about the transformer design. So, in that, we have seen regarding the output equation of a transformer, then EMF per turn equation of a transformer. Also, we have discussed the core design and some examples. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the remaining topics. In this, first, we are going to discuss about the winding details of the transformer, then the expression for no load current of a transformer, then expression for leakage reactance for a core-type transformer with the concentric coils. So, let us see about today's topics. So, in the previous, we have discussed also the overall dimensions of the transformer. So here I will show some documents. So this is the overall dimensions of the transformer. If you see, so single phase transformer, the D, small d is diameter of circumscribing circle, what we have seen, the diameter of the circumscribing circle. Capital D is distance between the centers of adjacent limbs, and here H is overall height and W is length of the yoke. Length of the Now the capital D will be given by D plus WW, and this dy, whatever the dy is there, so it is nothing but the A. It is nothing but the A here. Now the capital H will be given by HW plus 2H by, and the W will be capital D plus small capital D plus small. So this is for the single phase transformer. Now for the three phase transformer, we see this is the three phase transformer. This is the three phase transformer. Now here again, this is the W, this is HY, HW and H bar. This is the total H, you can say. This is the total H. Now the capital D will be D plus WW, and DY is again A, it is A, same as the single phase. The H will be again, it is HW plus 2HY, and W will be 2D plus A, 2D plus. So this is about the three phase transformer. Here you can see this continuation. As I told you, D is distance between the two core or leg center lines. If I say there are the two cores, so if this is say this is the first core and this is the second core. So now, if I take the distance between the two cores, it is D. It is D. Then the WW is measured from one edge of the leg to the other edge or the other of the adjacent leg in case of square or the rectangular. So now we will see the overall length for different type of transformers. So it is W double plus 2A or D plus A in case of single phase transformer. Again 2W plus 2D plus A or 2D plus A in case of three phase transformer. Then overall height for the core type, it is HW plus 2HY. Then overall height. Now we'll see overall length for the shell type transformer. It is overall length for the shell type transformer, and it is overall height for the single phase shell type transformer, and it is for the three-phase shell type transformer. This is regarding the main dimensions, overall dimensions. Now we will discuss the first topic of today's discussion, that is winding details. So normally the transformer is having two windings. One is low voltage winding LV and the second is high voltage winding. So now we need to estimate the number of turns of the transformer and the particular area of cross section of that particular winding. Now in order to have that, since the applied voltage V1 is approximately equal to the applied, that is voltage induced E1, that is whatever the V1 is there, it is equal to E1, that is equal to 4.44 pi m of T1, and that is equal to ET T1. Now number of primary turns or number of or turns per phase T1 is equal to V1 divided by ET. Number of primary, for primary T1 is V1 by ET in case of single. In case of three phase, it is V1 per phase divided by ET. Now number of secondary turns or the turns per phase T2 will be, again it is V2 by ET, and the rest is same, that is for the three phase. So now if I get T1, T2, then go for the I1. I1 is, we know the formula, kVA into 10 to 3 divided by V1 for the single phase, and it is kVA into 10 to 3 divided by 3 V1 phase in case of three phase transformer. What is cross sectional area of the primary winding conductor? A1. So it is A1 is equal to I1 divided by delta. Delta is current density. Current. Now go for secondary current I2. So it is I2 kVA 10 to 3 divided by V2 in case of single phase. K1 10 to 3 divided by 3 V2 phase in case of three phase. In case of three phase, this is secondary current. Now the cross sectional of the secondary winding, that is A2 is equal to I2 divided by delta millimeters. This is about the secondary. So knowing the number of turns and cross sectional area, why we need to calculate the number of turns and the cross sectional area of primary and secondary? So we can calculate the number of turns per layer in a window height of HW and number of layers in window width of WW very easily, very easily. So these are very helpful in calculating the HW and WW and HW and WW. So now we'll discuss the next topic, that is low load current of a transformer. So this is very easy topic. What is the no load current of a transformer? So in this case, so whenever current is on no load condition, so the current which is flowing in the particular transformer, it is I naught. So that is no load current. So when it is not connected or under no load condition, whatever the current in the transformer is there, it is I naught, no load. So this I naught, yes, in order to discuss this, consider this particular diagram of the transformer. So this is, sorry, yes, this is the transformer under no load condition we need to consider, and this is the vector diagram of transformer under no load condition. Under no load condition. So in this case, V1 is applied on the primary, and due to this V1, there is a current in the primary of the transformer. So this current will uh, induce, or the it is going to produce the flux, because it is alternating current and the flux is producing, and that flux is also alternating, and that will be linking with the particular transformer core and the secondary, and due to this flux linkage there is a EMF induced in the secondary, EMF induced in the secondary. So this, whatever the V1 is there, so it is equal to the E1, it is equal to the E1, but it is negative. So now whatever the no load current I naught is there, it is vectorical sum of magnetizing current IM and core loss or working component current IC. So now this I naught, whatever the I naught is there, it is, which is due to the source, so is having two components. One is the IM and there is one more, that is IC. What is IM? So IM is the magnetizing current, so which is mainly producing the flux in the transformer core. And then what is IC? IC is again the core loss or the working component. So here this IC is compensating the particular core losses in the transformer. In the transformer. So the I naught is total sum of IC and IM. IC and IM. So now here if you draw the phasor diagram, so in this case we are taking pi m along the x-axis and v1 along the y-axis, and here we are drawing two phasors. One is say the IM, it is along the pi m, and IC, it is along the v1. It is along the v1. So now the total resultant, if I take, this will be your I naught, and it is the sum of, if you join these phasors, it is sum of IC and IM. IC and IM. So now uh, moving further, no load input to the transformer will be V1 I naught cos pi naught. The no load input will of the transformer will be V1 I naught cos pi naught. So it is V1 IC, and that is equal to no load loss as the output is 0, and hence input will be output plus losses. Output plus loss. Since the copper loss under no load condition is almost negligible, because there is no any such copper loss under no load condition. So the no load losses can entirely be taken as due to the core loss. Core loss. So thus the core loss component of the no load current IC will be, it is core loss divided by V1, divided by V1 for the single phase, and for the three phase it is core loss divided by per phase divided by V1 phase for the three phase. Now RMS value of the magnetizing component or the current IM is the magnetizing ampere turns, that is maximum value divided by root 2 into T1 into T1. So this is RMS value of the magnetizing current IM. Now with the assumption that the magnetizing current is sinusoidal, which is not true in practice, but the magnetizing circuit of a transformer consists of both iron and air path. Magnetizing, that is whatever the magnetizing current we have discussed, it is sinusoidal, but it is not true in practice. The magnetizing circuit of transformer consists of both iron and air path. The iron path is due to legs and yokes, and air path is due to the unavoidable joints created by the core composed of different shaped dampings. So mainly there are two paths. One is the iron path and the other air path. The iron path is due to legs and yokes, and air path is due to the unavoidable joints created by the core composed of different shaped stampings. If all the joints are assumed to be equivalent to an air gap of Lg, that is area of length Lg, then the total ampere turns for the transformer magnetic circuit is equal to 80. So for iron, it is equal to 80 for iron plus it is the 8 lakh constant Lg Bm. Therefore, whatever the IM magnetizing component we have discussed is there. So it is the magnetizing ampere turns, that is maximum value. This is 80 for iron plus 8 lakh Lg Bm. It is for the uh, air gap, and divided by it is root to T1. Root to T1. This is I. So let us have some points under no load condition. So in case of transformer of normal design, the no load current will generally be less than about 2% of the full load current. So it is very less as compared to the full load current. So no load power factor cos pi naught is equal to IC by I naught and will be around 0.2. Then transformer copper losses. The primary copper loss at load is negligible. at no load is negligible as I naught is very less. The secondary copper loss is zero at no load as no current flows in the secondary winding. And the finally is core or the iron loss. The total core loss is equal to core loss in legs plus core loss in yokes. The core loss can be estimated at a design stage by referring to graph of core loss per kg versus flux density. So this is the core loss in the leg. Core loss in the leg. So this is regarding particular uh, no load current of a transformer. No load current of a transformer. So now we will discuss the another important topic, that is the expression for the leakage reactance of the co-type transformer with the concentric coils. Concentric coils. So now here we'll discuss before discussing that particular expression for the leakage reactance of co-type transformer with the concentric coils. So now we'll uh, have some brief about the resistance and the reactance of the transformer. So normally, if you say the single phase transformer, so co-type transformer, there is a primary winding and there is a secondary. Again, whatever the uh, particular resistance present in the primary and secondary winding are there, so they are denoted by the RP, that is resistance in the primary, and second the resistance in the secondary, that is RS. So now uh, resistance of the primary winding RP is equal to rho LMT TP divided by A1, it is ohms, and then again the resistance of the secondary, that is RS, is equal to rho again LMT divided by A2 into TS. So now in order to have the leakage reactance, so we already know that whatever the transformer is there, so whatever the flux linkage is there, so it is not going to be complete. So there is some leakage flux on the primary of the transformer as well as on the secondary of the transformer. That is, there are two leakage fluxes. One is phi L1 and there is phi L2. Phi L2. Again, phi L1 is producing E1 and phi L2 is producing E2. E2. So, in order to have that particular concept, so now we will consider the further discussion. That is, in this case, mainly if I say the particular reactance, so whatever the leakage flux pi L1, pi L2, the concept of leakage flux pi L1 and pi L2 is there. So it is well explained by considering the reactance. So in this case, useful flux, it is the flux that links with the both primary and secondary winding and is responsible in transferring the energy electromagnetically from primary to secondary side. The path of the useful flux is in the magnetic pole. Leakage flux, it is the flux that links only with the primary or secondary winding and is responsible in the imparting inductance to the windings. The path of leakage flux depends on the geometrical configuration of the coils and neighboring iron masses. So the reactance, it is again in this case, the leakage reactance is equal to 2 pi f into inductance into, that is equal to 2 pi f. Inductance will be given by flux linkage divided by current. Again, the flux linkage is flux into number of turns, and the flux is mmf or AT divided by reluctance, and the permeance will be 1 divided by reluctance. 1 divided by reluctance. These are the basic assumptions we need to consider. Now, the area A is equal to area over which the flux is established, and L is length of flux path. L is length of flux path. These are the basic assumptions we need to consider. So now, if I say, let us say the expression for this particular leakage reactance of a co-type transformer. So again, this is say first assumption: effect of magnetizing current is neglected. Then reluctance and effect of saturation of iron is neglected. All the MMF is assumed to be used to overcome the reluctance of coil height. Leakage flux distribution in the coil in the space between the LV and HV coils is assumed to be parallel to the leg axis. Now, after considering these points, let BP and BS. What are the BP and BS? So BP is a radial depth of the primary and secondary windings. TP and TS is number of primary and secondary turns per phase. For three phase, it is IP and IS, that is primary and secondary current per phase for three phase. And LMTP and LMTS, mean length of turns of primary and secondary windings respectively. So LMT is mean length of primary, secondary winding considered together. So L naught, that is circumference of insulation portion or the duct or both between the LV and HV coils, that is LC, and axial height or length of the both LV and HV coils. So here L naught and LC are very important. Now these are the basic assumptions we made, and we have stated some points. The total flux linkage of the primary or secondary winding is due to whatever flux linkage of the primary or secondary winding is there, it is due to the first leakage flux inside the primary or secondary winding and the leakage in between the LV and HV coils, in between the LV and HV coils. So to determine the flux linkage due to the flux inside the coil, consider an elemental strip dx at a distance x from the edge of LV winding, say primary winding. Then the flux linkage of the primary winding due to the flux phi x in the strip is given by, so it is the phi x, it is the phi x, so it is equal to the flux linkage of the primary winding, so that is phi x into number of turns linked by pi x, number of turns linked by pi x. So this pi x first. Now what is this? It is equal to ampere turns producing phi x, ampere turns producing pi x, permeance of the strip, permeance of the strip into the number of turns, into the number of turns linked by the pi x, linked by the pi x. So now I will put the values here. So now this is IP TP, IP TP divided by BP, then into LMT P dx divided by BP, and it is alpha naught into TP, alpha naught into TP. Now, considering the mean length of the strip is approximately equal to LMTP, therefore, the total flux linkage due to the flux inside the coil. So, this is ranging from 0 to BP, 0 to BP. So, from this particular inside coil primary, this is 0 to BP I am taking. Now, take the values, that is IP TP square, and it is alpha naught LMTP, alpha naught LMTP. Now this is divided by BP 2 TP by 2 LC x square dx, and it is finally IP T square, IP T square P alpha naught, this is LMTP divided by LC, and it is now here it is BP divided by 3, BP divided by 3. So whatever the total flux linkage due to the flux inside the coil is psi. If one half of the flux psi naught in between the LV and HV winding is assumed to be linking with each winding, then the flux linkage of the primary winding due to half of the flux psi naught in between the LV and HV winding is given by now psi naught is equal to half of the psi naught into number of turns linked by psi naught. Now ampere turns producing psi naught into permeance of the duct and the number of turns linked by flux pi naught. Now put the values here, so we can get 1 by 2 IPTP into L naught A divided by LC alpha naught into TP. Now can total flux, therefore the total flux leakage of the primary winding will be given by psi plus psi naught. So already we have calculated psi in the above equation plus psi naught. So then it is the total flux linkage of the primary winding. So here it is IP TP square alpha naught is LMTP BP plus L naught A. So it is divided by LC, this thing. Now it is equal to IPTP square alpha naught LMTP divided by LC BP divided by 3 plus A by 2 with the assumption that LMTP is equal to L naught. LMTP is equal to L. So therefore, leakage reactance of primary per phase will be XP, and that is equal to 2 pi of into flux linkage divided by current 2 pi of into IPTP square alpha naught, that is flux linkage alpha naught LMTP divided by LC BP divided by 3 plus A by 2 divided by whole divided by it is IP. That is the current. Now if I simplify this further, it is 2 pi of TP square alpha naught LMTS divided by LC BP plus A BP divided by 3 plus A by 2 ohms. Similarly, leakage reactance of the secondary winding per phase is again now XS is equal to 2 pi, yes, 2 pi f ts square alpha naught LMTS divided by LC BS divided by 3 A divided by 2 O. Now therefore the leakage reactance of the transformer referred to primary winding per phase will be XP is equal to XP plus XS dash, and it is equal to XP plus XS divided by TS into TP square. So whatever the primary is there, so refer to the primary, because again it is XP plus XS dash. So this is the secondary, refer to the primary is again putting the values, we'll get this is the resultant. This is the resultant. So okay, write this. So this is the leakage reactance of the transformer referred to prime. Referred to. So in this case, what we did here, we have just stated some points here regarding the leakage reactance, because we knew that whatever the uh, flux linkage in the particular transformer is there, it is uh, not complete, because this will be stated with the help of the considering the leakage reactances. So we have considered some of the points here about the that is reactance. So now we have we stated these points. and then we have assumed these particular points. Then we have calculated the total flux linkage of the primary and the secondary, and this is due to the leakage flux inside the primary or secondary winding and leakage flux in between the LV and HV coils. LV and HV coils. So this is the psi x we have considered, and now here the psi, it is ranging between 0 to BP. These are the two uh, limits, 0 to BP, and then we got this psi naught, this psi naught. So whatever the uh, therefore whatever the psi is there, so it is the total flux linkage is equal to psi plus psi naught. So this is psi and this is psi naught. This we have to put here, psi plus psi naught, and then we got leakage reactance of the primary as this XP. Now of the secondary is this. So this is about the expression for leakage reactance of the transformer with a concentric coils. So in the next session we will discuss remaining parts. Thank you.